listeners, it's Louise with you today on behalf of Kitaholic Kits, and I'm doing something a little bit different with my July kits. I decided I'm going to create an art journal layout, and I've been inspired by Lauren's recent project where she created sort of that mixed coloured stripy sort of background. I don't even know what you call it, but I watched Lauren's video and I was totally inspired, so I've decided to do my take on it, and I'm using the Vicky Bouton art tool. So if you got one of those in your kits, it was part of the mixed media kit, and we got these 3 great acrylic paints. So I would totally recommend you unwrap it if you haven't already and give it some use, because it quite honestly is really fun to play with. Whether you use the straight edge or the patterned edge, there's so much you can do with that particular tool. And look, I'm not completely into mixed media, but I do like to add some mediums to my layouts. Now, whether it be this with some acrylic paint and some stripes or blocks of color, I'm not particularly into the whole, pastes and then paint and splatters and mists, and I don't like my pages to be too heavy and chunky, but I do like the acrylic paint, and I think that this 3 combination of colors where it's almost it's not quite blue but it's not quite purple, it's really fun to work with, and it just matches that turquoise and the pink, and there's lots of ways you can use it to build different types of layouts. So now that I've had a little bit of a waffle on about why I like the mixed media kit, I'm going to sort of use this hand as my inspiration, and I thought about cutting it out and just sticking it on there, and then I thought, you know what, no, I can challenge myself a little bit more and actually try to draw that hand giving the peace symbol, so to speak, to actually add that in a larger format over my background. So I'm just using my black water pencil. So this pencil actually reacts with water as a base, and sort of sketching it, and you can see my lines are not clean, but that's actually how I prefer it. I like my lines to sort of be a little bit more rounded, because then it doesn't have to be perfect in my eyes anyway. This is how I like to do things. You might be different, but certainly I really love the way this layout turned out in terms of that hand that I was able to draw. So now that I'm sort of looking at it on the art journal spread, I think it needs to be darkened up a little bit. So I'm just going over it with my black pen. And you can see I've sort of coloured that in. Now it's at this point where I think, okay, how am I going to make those fingernails stick out a little bit? And I decide that I'm going to just use a little bit of glue, and this is actually embossing powder, but it's got that red sparkle, and if I was going to have sparkly nails, I would love red sparkly nails. That's just sort of, red's my favourite colour. I don't scrap with it often, but I love red. So I decided that I'm going to add the red sparkle to the nail, and just with paint, just with normal tacky glue, and then sprinkle that embossing powder over the top. So I don't actually set the embossing powder, I just use the sparkle, let it dry, and you can see that I've got some fancy red nails on my hand. So that art journal is finished. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're inspired. If you haven't already, make sure that you're subscribed, and of course check out Kitaholic Kits.